Russia's military has suffered yet another crushing defeat, with satellite images showing the burned-out shells of scores of tanks thwarted from crossing a key route near Ukraine's second-largest city, Kharkiv. Ukraine's Ministry of Defense on Wednesday shared images of the destroyed military vehicles littered around the Siversky Donets River, an area Russia previously controlled around 25 miles east of Kharkiv. Some of the still-smoking vehicles were right on the banks of the river, where at least 2 pontoon bridges appear to have been blown up to halt the advance.
Stand by!
Right! Stand by, command.
One ready, Chief, one ready!
Fire!
Let's go, next round!
The Ukraine Defense Ministry gloated Wednesday that some of the destroyed tanks bathed in the Siversky Donets River, and some were burned by the May Sunday. Reuters said it had confirmed that Ukraine now controls wide swaths of territory around the river after heavy fighting. It is burned out, just like all Russian tanks, a Ukrainian soldier told Reuters near Rubas next to the ruins of one Russian tank. The weapons are helping a lot, the anti-tank ones.
Set!
Ready!
Flagging back to the lunches! Stand by! Fire! Let's go! Strike if we go!
Ukraine's advances near Kharkiv could put some of Russia's main supply lines to eastern Ukraine, located on the far bank of the river, within range of Ukrainian artillery. Reuters noted the dramatic turnaround in the region was also highlighted Thursday by the UK Ministry of Defense in its latest intelligence update. Despite Russia's success in encircling Kharkiv in the initial stages of the conflict, it has reportedly withdrawn units from the region to reorganize and replenish its forces following heavy losses, the UK agency said. Military experts put the losses down to the advanced anti-tank weapons which Western nations have given to Ukraine, and to the poor way Russia has used its tanks. Ukraine's armed forces say Russia has lost more than 680 tanks. The U.S. supplied Ukraine with 2,000 Javelin anti-tank missiles at the start of the conflict and has since sent at least 2,000 more. Javelins can be fired so that the missile explodes on the top of a tank, where the armor is weakest, according to manufacturer Lockheed Martin. A lot of Russian tanks are fitted with reactive armor which absorbs the impact of missiles. However, Javelins are fitted with 2 warheads. One blows away the reactive armor, and the second pierces the chassis underneath. The UK has also sent at least 3,600 next-generation light anti-tank weapon missiles, NLAW. These are also designed to explode as they pass over the relatively exposed turret top of tanks. Nowadays, the Russian army operates through battalion tactical groups, BTGs, which are self-contained combat units made up of tanks, infantry, and artillery. The precise composition of these units may vary, but generally they comprise a large number of armored vehicles but relatively few infantry troops. Professor O'Brien says a lack of Russian air patrols means Ukrainian troops have found it easy to get into positions to ambush Russian tank columns. Russia didn't get air supremacy at the start of the conflict, he says, and so they cannot patrol the skies, spotting Ukrainian army movements. That means Ukrainian troops have been able to get into good fire positions for ambushes, and they have been able to do a lot of damage this way. President Volodymyr Zelensky has told his nation that Ukraine suffered serious losses in the initial stages of Russia's long-feared attack early on February 24th, with an advisor saying at least 40 people had been killed. Zelensky also said he was breaking diplomatic ties with Moscow, and he urged Russians who had not lost their honor to protest their government's actions. Zelensky spoke in a televised address on February 24 shortly after Russian missiles had targeted air bases and military infrastructure in at least 25 cities after Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered a special operation to demilitarize its neighbor and rival. The attack began in the early hours of February 24th, with explosions and sirens being heard in the capital, Kyiv, and at its Boryspil airport, and witnesses reporting missile blasts in many other cities, including Kharkiv, Kramatorsk, Dnipro, Mariupol, Odessa, and Zaporizhia. The attack prompted outrage and denunciations from the West and elsewhere as fears grew of a major war in the middle of Europe. NATO ambassadors said the alliance had agreed to beef up its land, sea, and air forces on its eastern flank near Ukraine and Russia after Putin ordered the attack on Ukraine.
Fire! Fire! Wait. Hold it! Let's run! There, boy! Fire!